Four jaw chuck, our dial plate, and our cylinder all mounted up in the lathe. We're getting ready to cut the squish band that is the very top of the cylinder, making the combustion chamber smaller. That's going to bump up our compression just a little bit, but the way we're going to do it, we got a dial test indicator set up, and we're going to work from, we'll call this the front, all the way to the back, and the front will get adjusted just like a four jaw chuck, but off of these four studs here. And then we'll come up here and we'll individually move these jaws. So it's going to take the cylinder, take all this out until we get it perfectly flat, and then we can come in with the boring bar all the way to the band and machine the chamber, cut the squish band, and then after that we got to come back and cut the base to get our squish height. What we're doing is we're moving the cylinder down. That's going to give us a little more favorable intake. Sometimes it goes too much. So that's all things you got to take into account when machining a cylinder. But I like to start with cutting the squish band. This is the process you got to go through to do it. I will come in here and I'll see where my indicator goes to, and I'll go just off the squish band. And then we'll touch so I can see. About there. And then I'll just set up a tool here on my ways. That way I know where to stop and I don't have to keep looking in there, and I'm not taking the dial indicator and bashing that into the front of the cylinder. There's usually a small little undercut at the top of the cylinders. That is clearance for them to hone them from the factory. I try to stay out of there because that's not perfect. The bore is what it is, and we're going to call that perfect. It's not always the case. But when I first mount one up, I'm going to come back here to the end, and we'll come right here in the transfer pocket and get just off of the bottom of the cylinder. And then I'm going to go ahead, jack this up, and roll this cylinder around and just see how far out I am. We can slowly work our way to it. Right there we're touching, and over here we've got a mile of room. I'm going to move this with the four jaw chuck for now, and then I will come back and start doing the dance. But at first I like to square it up, and then I'll come in and actually adjust here. When you first mock one up, you're not always super close to center, and I just like to get that a lot closer before I get rolling. So we're high here. Cylinder needs to come up. I just rolled it 180. So we'll loosen this, flip it over, tighten this, bring it back down, and we'll look. This is pretty tough with the camera, but we'll get a look. Bring this down to where we're touching again. High, low, loosen, tighten, touch, and we'll go around. So we're not crazy far out here. We're still a little bit out, but we'll go ahead and dodge all the ports, find our little stop on our ways, and we'll see what we're out. I normally don't get that lucky. Okay, we're within like 12 thou. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. So we're going to go ahead and snug this one up just a bit. And then we'll come down here, we'll loosen this one, and just start doing the dance. All right, we got a couple thou there. No big deal. We probably still have miles to go. We're going to switch over to our wrench. This one's way out. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, you can just barely see it. But this one's way out. That's no big deal. Find our high, loosen our top, tighten the bottom. Okay, we'll have to run that over there. Tighten the bottom, loosen, tighten. Okay, we're not sitting too bad there. One thing I didn't do is just get right in the center of the bore. So we'll double check. I was pretty close, but right there is center. Come back over, dodge the ports. Right there. High, low. I went ahead and zeroed out the indicator for the video's purpose. We're up by the squish band, and we are all dialed in. Not a bad idea to bump your indicator up and down just to make sure you are touching and you're not bottomed out one way or the other. But we'll go slow. Slow it right on down. And we've got a really nice zero here. We're going to back out all the way down to the bottom. We don't want to hit any ports on the way down because this is our final set. Get you set back up here. And now that we're down at the bottom, we're going to go ahead and roll it around and check here. And we're well within a half thou of round here. So we're going to go ahead and call that good. Now, if I can get this lined up, one thing running your indicator from the top to the bottom will tell you is if the cylinder has any taper to it. This one doesn't seem to, which is good for me. Sometimes you'll get a little bit of variance all the way down. But we've got a real nice zero here. So we'll go ahead, get set up, and we're going to cut our combustion chamber.